One of the biggest AI vendors in the world is being told, give full access by Friday, with serious consequences attached. If you think your company is too small to face that kind of pressure, wait until a regulated customer wants an exception in writing.
Hey, it is Wednesday, February 25th. AI is moving from software to sovereign infrastructure, where power comes from procurement and chips. The Pentagon reportedly pressured Anthropic for full military access to Claude by Friday, including demands to remove safety guardrails for military use. The report frames it as an ultimatum from the defense secretary to the CEO, with serious consequences if they do not comply. This is what state power looks like when the buyer is also the regulator, and the timeline is days.
Fine, but who pays when this breaks, and where is the paper trail? If a customer asks for guardrails removed, my first question is what shows up in the audit. My second question is whose name is on the liability clause.
If I were signing that contract, I would put "what we will refuse" into the deal in plain English before anyone starts integrating. I would also require tamper-proof records of every override request and who approved it. Honestly, I do not know how fast vendors will standardize this, but I do know the buyer will ask for it the moment something goes sideways.
I have seen just this once exceptions turn into the default operating mode. If you sell into regulated work, you need a written process for overrides, or you are volunteering to be the scapegoat later.
That pressure connects to the next move, because the labs that can say no are the labs that can afford to. Meta is reportedly committing over $100 billion to AMD chips over 5 years and locking up 6 gigawatts of data center capacity to run them. 6 gigawatts is power plant scale, the kind of number that turns AI into physical infrastructure.
Great. Now explain that to a CFO who was promised usage-based pricing that scales smoothly. If the vendor's costs jump because capacity got scarce, your renewal quote jumps too, and procurement will ask why your unit economics suddenly look like a utility bill. If your product depends on fast responses, you are the one eating the customer anger when the system slows down at peak times. The winners are signing long-term capacity deals, and everyone else is renting whatever is left. If you are a founder, the move is to model your AI costs like rent, not like a credit card bill. If you cannot lock in supply, price new AI features with a buffer, because your underlying costs can change faster than your customers tolerate price hikes.
I will believe the "we can always pass costs through" story when I see a churn report that agrees. If your competitor has locked in capacity and you did not, your margin is the first thing to get negotiated. Notion launched custom autonomous agents that can run recurring work continuously in the background without constant prompting. The pitch is that your workspace becomes the place where tasks get delegated and executed, not just written down. If this works, it shifts AI from "help me write" to "do the work while I sleep."
This is where AI Teammate gets real, because it is not a demo anymore. It is an always-on worker touching real docs. If it quietly makes something up and posts it, your brand voice is now whatever the tool decided at midnight. So my bar is simple. If it cannot show me a clean activity log, it does not run unattended.
Here is the practical test. Pick one recurring internal workflow and make it an always-on job only if it has approvals. Start with something low stakes, like drafting a weekly customer update, then require a human click before it ships. The promise is time saved, but the constraint is control. And if your team cannot explain the approval step in one sentence, it is too messy to automate. Put it in writing, because the first time it goes wrong, you will need more than vibes. As Rohan Paul put it, the U.S. Defense Secretary issued an ultimatum to Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei, demanding full military access to their AI model Claude by Friday or face serious consequences. That is the sound of policy turning into power, and your terms of service will not win that argument. For guardrails, do you hard refuse or sell a logged override? This is readme.ai from Chain of Thought. See you tomorrow.